Welcome back, homeschoolers. I'm a homeschooling father of a large family with a background in education and over 16 years of homeschooling experience. And today we're continuing our musical adventures as we talk about Antonio Vivaldi. Now, Antonio Vivaldi didn't just write music, but he wrote music that painted epic stories with sound. He was a priest, but he got out of church duties because of his mystery illness. He taught orphan girls how to play music and turned them into a world-famous orchestra. And he wrote one of the most famous pieces ever, The Four Seasons. But how did this red-haired violinist go from being a priest to a musical legend? And why did he disappear into poverty and obscurity after his biggest successes? Well, stick around, because today on Homeschooling for the Whole Family, we're diving into the wild, dramatic, and surprising life of Antonio Vivaldi. Let's start at the beginning. Born in 1678 in Venice, Italy, baby Antonio Vivaldi had two things going for him. One, his dad was a violinist. Two, he had bright red hair. That's why people later called him the Red Priest. Vivaldi learned violin super young and was insanely talented. But his parents had other plans. They sent him to train to be a Catholic priest. Here's the thing. Vivaldi had severe asthma. He could barely get through a church service without struggling just to breathe. So the church let him off the hook for most of his priestly duties. And you know what he did instead? He wrote music. He became an incredible violinist, and he started teaching at a school for orphan girls. Now, this is where Vivaldi's story gets crazy. In Venice, there was a special school called the Ospedale della Pietà, basically an orphanage that trained girls in music. Most people back then thought that women couldn't be serious musicians. I know, crazy. But Vivaldi? He took those girls and turned them into one of the best orchestras in all of Europe. Imagine walking into a church and seeing a full orchestra of young girls playing Vivaldi's powerful, fast, and dramatic music. It blew people away. Vivaldi wrote over 500 concertos, many of them specifically for his students. And guess what? They performed behind a screen so audiences wouldn't get distracted by them. Okay, homeschooling families, imagine turning the seasons into music. Well, that's exactly what Vivaldi did with the Four Seasons. Spring, happy, chirping birds and flowers blooming. Summer, a massive storm that crashes in. Autumn, leaves fall and people celebrate the harvest. Winter, you can hear the icy wind and freezing cold. But here's the really cool part. Vivaldi actually wrote poems with the music to tell the story of each season. This was way ahead of its time. He was basically doing movie soundtracks before movies even existed. Vivaldi became super famous. He was the musical celebrity of his time. But then his style went out of fashion. Vivaldi tried to move to Vienna to work for the emperor, but the emperor died before he got there. He ran out of money and died poor and unknown in 1741. But wait, here's the crazy twist. 200 years later, in the 1920s, a music scholar found a huge collection of Vivaldi's forgotten music. Now, The Four Seasons is one of the most famous pieces of classical music ever. Vivaldi's music wasn't forgotten, it was just waiting to be rediscovered. All right, homeschooling families, what do you think about Vivaldi? Have you ever listened to The Four Seasons? Which one is your favorite? Spring, summer, autumn, winter? Drop a comment below. And if you love learning about amazing musicians, please make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another homeschooling adventure. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and maybe listen to some Vivaldi today.